They represent the most remote outposts of humanity. Currently, the two space probes, Voyager 1 and 2, are located in the remote areas beyond the solar system. The exploration of interstellar space should help us to better understand the nature of our galactic neighborhood and add another revealing piece of the mosaic to the gigantic overall picture of the universe. At present, however, terrestrial scientists are confronted with a completely different problem. One of the two Voyager space probes is transmitting confused data that simply cannot be put into a plausible context. What this strange disturbance is all about and how a 45-year-old mystery recently made the headlines. Again, we'll show you in today's video, excited about the compelling discoveries and distinctive spectacles in the cosmos. Then remember to subscribe to Simply Space and click the bell for regular updates on these exciting topics by giving us a thumbs up. You're motivating us and showing that we can keep you engaged with the content of our videos. A musical composition. The Voyager program. Nobody could have predicted 45 years ago that the voyage of the unmanned spacecraft would turn out to be one of the greatest success stories of space travel. In fact, the original mission was not subject to a fixed research study. The two Voyager space probes depart Earth in 1977 to begin their journey to the largely unexplored areas of our planetary neighborhood. Focus, since there was very little knowledge available at the time regarding the outer planets of the solar system. In the lead-up to the expedition, the probes were entrusted with deliberately broad objectives. These included the analysis of the atmospheres of Jupiter and Saturn, but also the moons. The magnetic fields and the composition of charged particles in plasma were to be examined in detail. As we know today, the spacecraft were to exceed their originally intended mission duration many times over after providing us with groundbreaking images and information about the other members of our planetary system. The probes have for some time now been in an area that no man-made object has passed before, interstellar space. Currently, Voyager 1 is about 14.5 billion miles away from our terrestrial home. To put this into perspective, this corresponds to 156 times the average distance between the Earth and the Sun, the enormous distance which gapes in the meantime between us and Voyager 2 amounts, again, to 12 billion miles, since the two sister probes are currently exploring the unexplored regions of the cosmos. The data they are collecting and transmitting to Earth are of incomparable value. Studying the solar magnetic field, examining the heliopause, and assessing the solar wind and cosmic rays are among the Voyager interstellar mission's overarching goals. Researchers are furrowed brows due to the strangely chaotic telemetry data of Voyager 1, which was evaluated recently in terrestrial research stations but was confusing to the experts because, quite simply, they did not make sense of the strange Voyager 1 data in detail. What is even more surprising is that, as of yet, no source of interference for the flawed data has been found. The information sent by the AACs indicates a system failure, but this does not match the fact that Voyager 1 functions flawlessly in every other way. To put it simply, the AAC is the probe's attitude control system, which handles a number of fundamental tasks, including aligning the powerful main antenna with our blue home planet. Only then can it be guaranteed that communication with the space probe will continue to function over great distances while the terrestrial scientists use this radio link to give commands to Voyager 1. Even though the spacecraft functions perfectly otherwise, for instance, the data transferred to Earth and the reception and implementation of commands still function flawlessly. The strange thing now is that the attitude control system transmits completely chaotic and nonsensical data. Since the connection's signal strength hasn't weakened, it's reasonable to assume that the Voyager's main antenna is still pointed towards Earth, so NASA staff are working feverishly to find the source of the perplexing data situation. Since the facts indicate that the AAX is still operational, it is unclear why it continues to communicate jumbled information. Even if the researchers are unable to identify the problem's root cause, the Voyager's journey will continue. Experts are Still unsure if the unexpected information originated in the situation control system or in another subsystem. The original designers gave the sister probes the necessary backup systems because they were aware that technical issues would occur throughout the mission. This extra hardware is utilized in the event that a system fails or malfunctions. In reality, Voyager 1 employed one of these reserve systems approximately 5 years ago, when more flight control thrusters were turned on to make up for the attitude control thrusters' degeneration. How long the Voyager probe's mission will last is actually, though it is progressively becoming clear that this amazing research expedition is drawing to a conclusion, it is anticipated that Voyager 1's scientific operations will conclude in 2025. One day, in the 2030s, the spaceship will be so far from Earth that it will be impossible to make any more contact. The WOW signal. Because of the following background, the year 1977 not only marked the beginning of the Voyager program, but also the time that astrophysicist Jerry R. Emin recorded an amazing narrowband radio signal that left Americans speechless. To this day, it remains the most promising candidate when it comes to asking about extraterrestrial messages. The narrowband signal at the time actually exhibited a lot of similarities to the signals that are typically produced by antennas. The precise origin of the WOW signal has never been known, and because of the ambiguous information, it is still possible that Emin truly recorded an extraterrestrial communication on August 15, 1977. Furthermore, in the 4.5 decades since the original recording, the Big Ear telescope only registered the signal with one of 2 antennas, which made it impossible to precisely identify the signal source. This was one of the reasons why experts at the time were unable to determine the origin of this mysterious event. Numerous researchers have attempted to understand the origins of this fascinating enigma. About 5 years ago, a researcher thought he had found a comet that would cause the WOW signal. This was an exciting hypothesis that would soon be proven false, but it appears that an amateur astronomer has now succeeded in shedding some light on this cosmic darkness and establishing a new track. In order to determine which of the dozens and thousands of stars in the heavens were viable candidates for an origin, Spanish amateur stargazer Alberto Caballero. Since the only known life forms in the universe to date have also evolved in the vicinity of such an apparent star, his work was predicated on the idea that the development of intelligent extraterrestrial life would most likely occur in a system around a Sun-like host star. This assumption was supported by the Gaia star catalog. After searching for every star that did not meet this beginning point, the Spaniards concluded that there are 17 stars in the potential signal origin area that meet the previously specified criteria. The issue is that we don't have enough information about the size and luminosity of 14 of these stars. Of the 3 remaining candidates, one in particular is gaining attention from scientists. In comparison, the surface temperature of our Sun is approximately 9941 degrees Fahrenheit. The matching star's temperature is predicted to be 9950 degrees Fahrenheit. Additionally, the 2 celestial bodies are similar in size and luminosity. Caballero is therefore dealing with the cosmic twin of the Sun in detail. This dazzlingly bright celestial body is located about 1,800 light-years from Earth, where it graces. An area in the constellation Sagittarius, a spatial distance that coincides with a calculation made on the basis of the Drake equation. In this regard, researchers concluded that the nearest highly evolved species must be more than 500 light-years away from us. If one follows Caballero's thoughts, it would be quite conceivable that planets with conditions favorable to life orbit around the star studied. But this is not enough. On one of these planets, an advanced civilization could have formed, which emitted a strong radio signal. 45 years ago, it's possible that this happened in the context of a communication attempt with other life forms, but why was this then a unique event in this respect? Caballero refers to the messages already sent by mankind into the universe. Thus also, the purposeful radio signals of our species were always of short duration and were by no means repeated over a longer period. Future investigations will have to show to what extent this purely speculative approach now corresponds with reality. For this purpose, it's essential to take a close look at the corresponding region of the sky and to search for conspicuous signatures. We'll let you know as soon as the experts learn anything new about the mysterious WOW signal. Now it's your turn to share your opinions about the fascinating Voyager program and the mysterious WOW signal. As always, please leave your comments below with your ideas, suggestions, and remarks regarding today's film. If you're looking for more fascinating space-related content, check out the other videos on our channel by clicking on one of the credited photos. Thank you for viewing, be careful, and we'll talk to you soon.